Hello again then, and welcome to Blogcast episode 2. Hope you enjoyed last week's foray into the audio version of the blog. This is basically what this is. As I said last week, been doing the blog in written form for many years now. Decided to get a bit more up to date, so now it's become a blogcast. Now, I know it seems like all me and my girlfriend do is go out for dinner, but that is because that is basically what we do a lot of the time. A couple of Fridays ago, we went out for a great meal with Linda's cousin and his wife, who have just moved back from Australia. Why you would move back from Australia at the moment, I'm not totally sure, but they had a great time out there. They lived out there for about 6 years and they've got themselves Australian citizenship. Before they moved back, they hired a camper van, and did a huge tour of Australia. They went round most of it, saw many great places out there. It was fascinating talking to them about that trip. We actually went to one of mine and Linda's favourite restaurants. It just so happens it was the restaurant we went to on our second date, called Tabure in Berkhamsted, and that's where we went the other week. It is so good in there. The food in there is absolutely amazing. It's a Turkish style restaurant, so it's kind of set up with sharing food, so lots of dishes to share. You can mix and match a little bit. They're fine with me. They can cater for celiacs. They're very good at keeping things separate and supplying gluten-free options where required, so I feel very comfortable eating in there, and it's just great. The service is fantastic. They're really friendly. The decor is great. It's just a nice place to eat, and we had another great meal in there. I think the waiter was just doing his job, but he was a bit concerned about how much food we'd actually ordered. He did check if we were hungry and if we thought we could eat it all. I must be honest, I'd seen what we'd ordered, and even I was thinking, I'm not sure we can get through all of that. However, we did manage it. Now, I'm not saying we like or are totally obsessed with this restaurant, but we've already booked it for our anniversary meal next February, and I would imagine we might end up going maybe once or even twice before that. I mean, we do try and keep it as a treat or a special occasion, but it's not too far from where we live, and it's really nice. During the conversation over dinner, Linda's cousin told us that he was doing a Tough Mudder kind of style event in a few days. He does lots of 5k running. I think he does the park runs as well. I've never done a park run. I'll be honest, I like running. I go running at least once a week, more if I can. But I see running as very much a one-player game. I don't really like running with people. I don't see it as a social event. I just kind of want to get through the run. I'll have some music on, I'll run, I'll do the time I decide to do. I'm happy. Don't really fancy a park run. Having to talk to people and be sociable while I'm running, that's not really how I do it. Anyway, so he was doing that Tough Mudder somewhere locally, which he did do. I saw the photos. In fact, he got very, very muddy, and there's a video of his wife filming him coming over the finishing line with his medal on, and just as he walks towards the camera, you can see he's covered in mud, and he goes to try and hug her. At that point, the filming stops, and I presume his wife just runs away from him. While we're talking of running, when I approached 40, I applied in the ballot to run the London Marathon, thinking that, well, it's one of those things, want to try it once. I thought, I'm 40, I'm not getting any younger, I could try and do it then when my knees and ankles are still kind of okay. So that was the plan. I did the ballot when I was 40, didn't get in, fine, I was okay with that. The problem is, once you've applied for the ballot for the London Marathon once, every year they send you the chance to enter the ballot. And despite saying I was only ever going to try and do it once, and if I got in, great, if I didn't, well, that was just how it was meant to be, every year they've sent me the link I've applied for the ballot. And this year was no different. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure I actually even really wanted to run the London Marathon anymore. I've had family who have done it. I've had people I know who've done it. They've all said it's a brilliant experience and well worth doing. But I don't know. 26 miles is a long way. So I was actually quite pleased when I got the email this week telling me, unfortunately, I've not been successful in the ballot. I think I'm going to call it quits there. That would have been my last shot at the London Marathon. I'm going to retire from marathon running, having never actually run one in the first place. But I guess that means I finished my marathon career undefeated. As I said, it really isn't like we just go out for dinner all the time. However, last Saturday night, we went for dinner in Milton Keynes at one of the Miller and Carters there. They're celiac accredited, so again, they're great for me. I only tend to try and eat at places now that do gluten-free food and are celiac accredited, as I know I can trust them. I know I can eat there safely, which really does frustrate Linda because she's a massive fan of food, eating out, going to new places, trying new things, and yeah, it can be a bit awkward sometimes. However, we had a good night out on Saturday night, meeting up with a friend of mine who I know from working in radio. I've known him 20 years now. How I know him, I started doing some freelance work on a radio station called Ivell FM down in Somerset, just covering weeks' holidays here and there, staying down in a B&B or sometimes at the boss's place for a week while I was down there. When I was down there freelancing, we just started hanging out, going to the pub, spending some spare time together, and then basically he decided to leave the radio station, and long story short, I got his job. So basically I know him because I stole his job. I say stole his job. He chose to leave. And then I ended up working down in Somerset for 5 years at Ivell FM, and then when it became Midwest Radio as well, had some fantastic times down there. Had a lot of fun down in Somerset, in Yeovil, working on that radio station. Good to catch up with him. He's doing very well for himself. He's on the radio and TV nowadays as a reporter, which is great. It's nice to see him doing well. We had a fun night, and hopefully, I don't think we talked about radio and did Alan Partridge jokes all night, so hopefully Linda didn't get too bored. She didn't say she did, so I think we kind of got away with it. Although we did have a bit of a train nightmare weekend. The train that we were going to get to Milton Keynes was delayed, then it was cancelled, and then it was back on but going to be running late. Then it was cancelled again, and then it actually arrived more or less at the right time, or they sent another train, and we got to Milton Keynes pretty much about the time we were planning, in time to make our reservation at the restaurant. Then on the way back, guess what? The train was once again delayed. Obviously, there are quite a lot of train strikes happening at the moment because of working conditions and pay, and I kind of understand that and I get that. Although, what I will say, if they want the strikes to have any impact, they kind of have to run a normal service at all other times. So anybody who is aware of the blog will know that I am a Tottenham Hotspur fan. I'm a Spurs season ticket holder, and it's been a bit tough the last few games. I went to a special screening that I was invited to at the ground of the away game against Manchester United. They had a couple of former players there, Graham Roberts and Mickey Hazard, doing a Q&A. It was a fun night until the actual match started and we got beaten by Manchester United. Then I was at the game last weekend where we got beaten by Newcastle. So it's not been that great recently, but we are still in the top four, which, I'm not unhappy with. It's going okay. We've got a few more games before the odd break for the World Cup, which that's going to be really weird, I think. Not sure what that's going to do to the Premier League season, because you're going to have some players who have played lots of football all the way through November and December. You're going to have some players that played no competitive football all the way through that time, and you have players in between as well who have finished playing about 2-3 weeks before the rest of the players return from the World Cup. Everybody's going to be at different levels of fitness. It could be an amazing end, a weird end to the Premier League season, and I think the Christmas fixtures are going to be crazier than ever. It's Halloween on Monday then. I must confess, I've never been a fan of Halloween at all. Never got it, never been interested in it. As a kid, didn't like it, used to scare me, used to terrify me. Maybe it's due to the fact I just don't like horror films or anything scary. Never ever went trick-or-treating, never dressed up for Halloween, didn't like it. As an adult, still don't like it now. Don't really get it, don't like dressing up. I don't really like the whole concept, if I'm honest, of trick-or-treating as well. Plus, if anyone does come to my door this year, all they're going to get is gluten-free treats, and they're not really going to like that, to be fair, I don't think. I was invited to a Halloween fancy dress party once. I did get as far as getting an outfit, but sadly on the night of the actual party I wasn't very well, so I couldn't go, so I missed out on that one as well. The most I could probably get involved, I could probably get on board with decorating a pumpkin, but that would be about it. That said, if you enjoy Halloween, enjoy dressing up, enjoy the parties, enjoy everything about it, that's fine. Have fun, be nice to everybody while you're doing it, but have a good time. While I was in New Orleans, I did do a ghost tour, which was quite interesting, to be fair. There were some good stories and some things that could have maybe didn't happen. It was all very fascinating. I enjoyed it. I remain quite sceptical about those kind of things. Basically, Halloween is not really for me, and I'll probably be trying to avoid it the best I can. It seems like everything happens quite quickly at this time of year. Once you've got Halloween out of the way, it is, of course, fireworks night. Now, I like fireworks night, although my first memory of going to big fireworks night was with my auntie. She took us to her works too. It was a great big event, massive bonfire. I was absolutely terrified of the loud bangs and spent most of the time kind of hiding inside my coat and my hood, not enjoying the loud bangs at all. I'm okay now. I love fireworks now. It's fine. They're good. Working in radio, obviously many years, I've been involved in lots of different firework events in Somerset and Buckinghamshire, helping to host them, sometimes helping to set them up and arrange them. One night does really stick in the memory. It was one of the Mix 96 firework nights, and we generally had a stage on with some acts on. The presenters would each take turns to do a bit on the microphone, and there'll be some acts. This one year, we had the singer Kim Mazel coming to perform, and it was an absolutely terrible night. It was raining, it was windy, it was cold, and the stage was set up on the grass. It had been raining all day. It was really, really muddy. And she arrives in a stunning ball gown and big 4-inch heels. There's no way she can walk across the mud. It's just not going to happen. She's going to get stuck. She's going to ruin her dress. So about 4 of us offered to give her a lift. So we basically carried her across the grass to the stage. But even then, her troubles weren't over because it was quite a makeshift stage. The only way you can get on the stage was by climbing up a ladder, which she did. She didn't complain, by the way. She was laughing, giggling all the way we were carrying her. She was absolutely brilliant. And she got up there, did a great show, great performance. She was brilliant. And then obviously she climbed down the ladder and we carried her back across the mud. It's fantastic. Best bit about doing those fireworks nights for me, though, was you got to be the one who led the countdown. So you basically made the fireworks happen, in a way. Good when the fireworks actually started on time. Not so good when they didn't, because didn't always necessarily go 100% to plan and start on time. But those events I was involved in often had the fireworks to music, which I think, when it works perfectly, is so good. I remember one year, I think it was the best one I went to, we had the fireworks set to all the James Bond themes. It just lends itself to fireworks quite nicely, doesn't it? All the different James Bond themes. That was a great night. I think we might be going to a fireworks night possibly this year. We haven't organised it as such yet. We might just find one on November the 5th and just turn up if we can get a ticket on the gate and enjoy that. But I do like fireworks, so if you are going to enjoy some fireworks, obviously be safe, be sensible, have a great time and enjoy them. Just the usual quick reminder that you can hear me every Saturday between 2 and 4 on radio9springs.com. That is it for this second episode of the Blogcast. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good couple of weeks. I'll speak to you again then. Take care. Bye-bye.